Letting go doesn't start with the hands. It starts with the heart. Every person in this world carries at least one thing they should have released long ago. A memory, a fear, a person, a regret. And the more we hold on, the more we break on the inside. These words don't just form a hook. They open a doorway into the emotional landscape of being human. As you hear them, let them settle. Let them echo within you. Picture a dark, quiet room where only your breath is loud enough to remind you that you're still here. In that room, there is a box you haven't opened in years, filled with moments, people, and emotions that your heart is still gripping tightly. You don't touch it, but you feel its weight. This is where our journey begins. A journey not of holding on, but of finally learning the art of release. You're watching the universe of book, the place where wisdom meets storytelling, and books become bridges to a better, calmer, wiser life. Here, every summary is more than an explanation. It is a conversation with your soul. The art of letting go is not merely a book. It is an emotional mirror that shows us who we have become while holding too tightly to things that were only meant to pass through our lives, not stay forever. The book gently reveals that letting go is not a sudden decision. It is a gradual unfolding, a softening of the heart, a return to yourself. And to understand this art, we must begin where all pain begins, with attachment. Imagine a person walking through life carrying a large, old suitcase. They never question its weight. They bring it everywhere. Upstairs, downhill, across cities, through years. They believe that the suitcase contains something valuable, things they cannot risk losing. It becomes part of their identity. But the truth is, they never open it. They only carry it. Until one day, exhausted and trembling under its weight, they finally place it on the ground, kneel beside it, and open it. Inside, they find nothing. Just emptiness. The suitcase was always hollow. The burden was never the contents. It was the belief. This is us. This is our life. And that suitcase? That is everything we hold on to. Guilt, grudges, failed relationships, old dreams, expectations, people who walked away, wounds we never healed, and moments we replay again and again, long after their meaning has faded. The weight feels real, but the contents are not. And this book teaches us that letting go is not about dropping the suitcase. It is about looking inside and understanding why we carried it for so long. We cling to things because the mind fears emptiness. Attachment forms subtly. We meet someone and believe they will stay forever. We achieve something and assume it defines us. We experience a trauma and believe it is part of our identity. The book explains that attachment is born from a deep inner insecurity, our desire for stability in a world that is constantly changing. We cling to what feels familiar, even when it hurts. We cling to people who have already left emotionally. We cling to memories that do not nourish us. We cling to versions of ourselves that we have already outgrown. And so we suffer not because life is cruel, but because we refuse to loosen our grip on things that no longer exist. The cost of holding on is high. It steals our present. It clouds our mind. It creates emotional knots that tighten over time. When we hold on to resentment, it poisons our peace. When we hold on to past relationships, it blinds us to new connections. When we hold on to regret, it drains our hope. Life becomes a repetitive loop because holding on does not allow us to experience new chapters. It only forces us to relive old ones. The book reminds us that holding on is like gripping a rope that burns your hand. The tighter the grip, the deeper the burn. Yet letting go is not an overnight decision. It is a process, slow, gentle, and often painful. It begins with awareness, the quiet realization that something inside you is ready to change. You start noticing that the things you cling to no longer make you feel safe. Instead, they drain your energy. You realize that replaying past conversations only reopens wounds. You recognize that some people are chapters, not the entire book. Awareness is the first spark of liberation. Acceptance follows. Acceptance is not weakness. It is strength. It is looking at the past without wishing it were different. Acceptance is acknowledging what happened, what ended, what hurt, what stayed, and what left without trying to rewrite it. Acceptance is saying, "It is what it is," and letting that sentence bring peace instead of pain. Then comes allowing. Allowing is giving yourself permission to feel, to cry, to grieve, to sit in silence, to let the emotions flow without judging them. Allowing means understanding that healing is not linear. It rises and falls like waves. There will be days when you feel empty, days when you feel lighter, and days when everything rushes back. This is normal. Healing is not a straight line. It is a spiral. Finally, there is release. Release is gentle. It is not dramatic. It happens quietly, like a leaf falling from a tree when it has learned all it needed to learn. Release is when your soul whispers, "You don't need this anymore." Release is the moment you put the suitcase down, not because it became lighter, but because you became stranger. The book beautifully explains that letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean erasing the past. You do not let go of memories. You let go of the emotional anchors attached to them. You don't stop loving people. You stop losing yourself for them. You don't erase the pain. You release the belief that the pain defines you. Letting go is not about removing anything from your life. It is about removing the resistance within you. As you progress on this inner journey, peace begins to emerge like sunlight breaking through long-forgotten windows. You feel lighter. You breathe deeper. You understand that not everything is meant to stay. You stop chasing closure from others and instead create your own. You stop waiting for apologies that will never come. You stop replaying old stories that no longer serve you. Peace becomes your new normal, not because life becomes perfect, but because your heart becomes free. Through this transformation, you discover a profound truth. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is gaining. Gaining clarity, space, strength, and new beginnings. You shed the old versions of yourself. You stop trying to control things that were never yours to control. You accept that some chapters end without explanations. You learn to trust the timing of your life. You learn that sometimes, not getting what you want is the greatest form of protection. You learn that freedom is not found in holding on, but in knowing when to release. Now, as we approach the end of this journey, take a moment to breathe. Picture yourself standing in an open field. The sky is wide. The air is quiet. In front of you lies your suitcase, the one you have carried for years. Its surface is scratched. Its edges are worn. Its weight has drained you again and again. Now imagine placing your hand on it. Feel its texture. Feel its history. And then, slowly, gently, open it. Look inside. See the emptiness. See the meaninglessness of what once felt heavy. Let this moment remind you that peace was never outside. It was always within, waiting for you to put the suitcase down. You don't lose anything by letting go. You simply return to yourself. You return to the person you were before the world taught you to cling. You return to the freedom you always deserved. You return to your own soul. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so more people can learn the art of freeing themselves.